Believe it or not, a billion-dollar building year could be Sioux Falls' new status quo.
As we've grown to the community the size we are, I think that $1 billion will become kind of the new normal, whether we hit that this year or not, but that is, I think, our new standard. And also, I think if you look at population, that 5,000 people a year, we used to have 3,000, 4,000. I think we're that 5,000 a year is going to be kind of a standard too.
Most of our business community is positive. I think a lot of them are kind of adjusting now to the last couple, 3 years where it's been kind of unknown, a lot of unknowns, and now there's some things that are better known.
Sioux Falls continues to grow in all directions, including downtown and increasingly out to its suburban communities.
There's a lot of just foundational items that we're planning for. Sioux Falls has got a long track record for decades of being a very well-planned city.
And actually, we're looking at some large projects yet this year. They're early, they're in discussion whether they get past footing and foundation this year or not, I don't know, but there is still a lot of commercial activity out there.
The Northeast is beginning to see the benefit of those investments, with the I-90 connection to Veterans Parkway driving new neighborhoods, a new shared location for Sanford Health and Lewis Drug, and continued activity east along Arrowhead Parkway, including a major development for signature companies. New home permits are up to start the year and more in line with the start of 2022.
It depends on who you talk to. Some of the builders are really busy, some are busy for the whole year, some have work for like the next 4 months, and it just kind of varies. But we do sense that at least that part of it's going to be better this year.
Dolly Farm Village has added many new retailers in the last year and will be a center of development this year, with the state's new one-stop office center, a large new apartment complex, and new locally owned small businesses like a men's salon and Mexican restaurant. There's also industrial growth in the Northeast, from the new McGuire headquarters to activity at the Development Foundation's Park 8, which expanded last year.
Where the National Guard Armory is coming up and things like that. Not a lot of activity on that ground yet, but there are some very nice lots that are there.
The east and northeast sides also will see major road work this year, from a new diverging diamond interchange at Benson Road to a large-scale overlay of East 10th Street from I-229 to Sycamore Avenue. To the south, construction of South Veterans Parkway is setting the stage for future development.
We bid the first phase last year, and it's 2 miles. Most of the grading, some of the bridge work, some of the pedestrian tunnels are getting constructed, but what you'll see in 2024 is the paving of the 6-lane facility between Western and Cliff. You'll also see the improvements that'll happen to Western to include a roundabout at 95th Street. That'll just really help the circulation, really help tie the corridor into the intersecting arterial streets.
The momentum is continuing in the southwest, where development is beginning to take shape around the future 85th Street interchange, starting with multifamily and the future headquarters of Orthopedic Institute. The interchange is in design with plans to start construction next year as work on adjacent roads continues.
Between the City of Tea and the City of Sioux Falls are working really closely. Lincoln County's a big part of it, the landowners are a big part of it, and so is the DOT. And you're just going to really see that entire area just continue to mature and I think come alive.
Those landowners have been waiting for that interchange for a long time. And so that'll be obviously the next big growth area. I mean, as you look at a node that's got all kinds of potential for lots of larger scale development, that obviously has got to be on our radar.
Existing space in and around the Empire Mall and the little remaining space at Lake Lorraine also is filling in with new businesses like Ashley, Dillard's, Crunch Fitness, and Five Below. This construction season, the city will see completion of its first diverging diamond interchange at 41st Street.
Where there's holes, that's where people want to fill in. That's where the activity, the traffic infrastructure already is. So, and that's what staff is telling me. We're seeing smaller projects, but infilling in those larger developments.
In the Northwest, the city is working on design for a large bridge that will take Marion Road over the Burlington Northern Railroad. That's not far from where Foundation Park is adding a 330,000 square foot integrated service center for Avera Health shared with global healthcare company Owens & Minor, as plans for a large food production for CJ Foods continue to move forward.
We'll finish up most of our infrastructure work out there. We've got some really good prospects out there right now that are kicking around at that 30 and 40 acre those pieces like that. And now's the time where they're all kind of doing their due diligence and they're kind of deciding, do they want to submit a purchase agreement and kind of get the ball rolling on that. So, we're a build-ready site, so all the utilities and everything are there. So I see a, very positive thing going forward.
While uncertainty around everything from market conditions to the upcoming presidential election means development generally is slowing some, conversations about potential projects continue.
We still have a lot of interest from site selectors and brokers that are looking for options for some of the properties and some of the companies that they're working with. So I think our activity is still pretty good, and we haven't seen a big downturn yet.
Not far away, the first building for the USD Discovery District has started construction.
We're very happy to see that. It's been kind of a long road on that. Our challenge right now is, finding those stage 2, stage 3 biotech companies that are ready to operate, right? To ready to move into that. And so that's a new area for us. And so we're still kind of finding our legs, if you will, on how do we market that facility, who do we market to, those types of things. So we'll learn a lot this year. Hopefully we can get somebody in there by the time it opens in 2025, but we're confident that we can do that.
The area around the Sanford Sports Complex is one to watch this year too. Look for hotel and apartment activity, in addition to continued work on the Sanford Virtual Care Center and the Dakota State University Cyber Research Center.
To me, what's really exciting is that with the virtual care and with the cyber, it has that potential to create another cluster of employment in our community that we don't have now. And every time you can do that, it just really helps level out the economy and really help balance. That's what kind of keeps us more recession-proof.
It also could be another big year for the Sioux Falls Regional Airport, which will open its parking ramp later this year and is working to secure funding for additional gates.
The expansion airport, the ability to have more choices for flights, I think it's critical to our economy, to our quality of life, to workforce recruitment. Obviously it's a big lift, it's a lot of dollars, but it is a critical piece of our infrastructure as we go forward.
And speaking of infrastructure, the city is about halfway through a more than $200 million expansion of the wastewater treatment plant and done studying the needs for expanding capacity in the city's growth areas.
You'll start to see, just in 2024 alone, we'll see about $125 million worth of work get bid for more capacity and more expansion of the collection system. We'll start with on the west side, and then ultimately we'll start to add more capacity on the east side and start to refine the designs on the southeast side, along with working with the developers in the northeast. So you're going to start to see a lot of that foundational work happen.
There also are big improvements coming at the regional landfill.
We've made about a $6 million improvement that we're about halfway through. We'll finish it in 2024, be a new scale house, 3 new inbound lanes with a canopy, so you can see, similar to leaving the airport, from that type of modernization, and then where you go to do the public drop-off. That's been very successful, and so we're going to double the capacity of all the public drop-off. So it's going to really feel like a new and modernized landfill by the end of this year.
And the city is actively planning for the future water supply.
We're going to be involved with any option, including in making more investments into our well field. We've got a well that's under construction right now that we think will harvest between 5 and 7 million gallons of water per day. So it'll be our largest well producer by probably a factor of 2. So between our own well field, Lewis and Clark's expansion, and likely another Lewis and Clark 2, if you will, and then Dakota Main Stem, we're going to continue to be at the table so we can be not only looking at 40 and 50 years out, but 100 years out.
Finally, there's downtown, where 2 once-in-a-generation developments will wrap up this year. At Sharapa Place, residents will start moving into apartments in May. Many businesses already are operating, and more announcements are coming. Businesses also have moved into the Steel District, which will open 3 restaurants and the Canopy by Hilton Hotel before the end of the year, plus begin moving residents into apartments.
With the rate of all that development, the first thing you think about is, well, what's absorption going to look like? Well, it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's really going well both on the residential and on the commercial side. So there's certainly now room for the next thing.
The 6th Street Bridge is coming really good. We have a strong local contractor that's delivering that project, and it's just timely to be able to do it with two really strong, large developments that are building next to it. You also see the River Greenway project, the Jacobson Plaza improvements coming, and so I think everyone's excited to see the private development work get done, see the 6th Street Bridge get done, the first really quiet zone infrastructure get built. And so a lot of improvements happening right in the core of the city.
The city continues to work on its next rail yard land sale and identifies the Wells Fargo block and the Riverline district on downtown's east side as future opportunities.
We really, I think, just continue to look at making sure we're solid on our infill, but also what's our next, where do we expand to next? Falls Park Master Plan, Downtown 2035, Riverline, how does all that continue to work together?
There's, additional, I think, things that are going to be happening over the course of the next year or two downtown that are going to be tremendous for the downtown. It is a huge selling point when we're looking at companies. The vibrancy of downtown is kind of indicative of the vibrancy of the rest of the community.